Hey everyone, Alex Swenson here, Director of Education for the Offices of the Grand Chapter. Excited to talk to you all today. Hopefully most of you are Hegemons that are watching this. And I'm excited to share about a topic that we get a lot of questions about. Frankly, a topic that not a lot of people do well. And so that's why it continues to come up. And that's the issue of ongoing member education throughout the time that you are in TEAC. Your role as a Hegemon is the member educator, right? It's not just the new member educator. And I know a lot of you know that, but I also know a lot of you struggle to find that balance between what you're doing with new member education and how to continue to educate members throughout the time that they're in college, keep them active, keep them engaged. As I said, we get this question a ton, and I want to set a few kind of base layer expectations for this conversation. Don't think about this as much as educating your members. That's what we do with our new members, right? We teach them about TEAC. We teach them about the founders, the Declaration of Principles, the beginning of the fraternity. We're not necessarily going to teach our members much beyond that. And you are not a licensed instructor. You're not a teacher. You're not a college professor. So don't think of it that way. Think of it as providing opportunities to continue their education, providing opportunities to enhance value in their membership. That's what your role as Hegemon should really be. And we're going to get into some of the different tactics and strategies you can look at to do so. Another important piece, ongoing education. It doesn't have to be TEAC education. You don't have to sit down and review the Declaration of Principles with the entire chapter once a month. Once again, that's what we do with new member education. We teach guys all of that fun stuff at the beginning. It's smart maybe once a year to go in and review it and help guys understand, where we came from, where we're going, how our past shaped our present and our future. And I think that your perspective on a lot of that will change throughout the time that you're in college and throughout the time that you're a TEAC. But it doesn't have to be the focus of ongoing member education. Member education should encompass all sorts of different things. Again, what I'm going to talk about a little bit later, but it should really focus on some of those life skills, some of those pieces outside of the fraternity that guys might not be getting enough attention on. I really want to focus on three different areas. The first is recent initiates, those guys who are, maybe second semester freshmen or coming into their sophomore year who were just initiated in the fraternity. The second area I want to focus on is what I'll call our general members, our guys that are sophomores, juniors, they've been around for a year or two and maybe our officers or chairmen, but that's a group that I think gets neglected a lot. And then looking at our seniors and how we can keep those seniors, once again, engaged and active throughout their senior year when they have a lot of other things going on and maybe the fraternity isn't at the top of their mind. Another important thing here, don't try and put everyone in the same box. Don't just assume that if you create something or if you look at a program to educate members that everyone's going to be interested or that everyone's going to care. Not everyone has the same set of needs. Not everyone has the same set of interests. Freshmen in college, sophomore in college, they have a lot different outlook on their life and where their life is going than a senior. And so we're not going to try and put everyone into the same box and just assume that one size is going to fit all and one approach is going to affect everyone positively. We have to think outside the box a little bit, and we have to get creative with how we approach the different groups. First piece is on recent initiates. Keep in mind, when you're a new member, when you're a candidate, everything is structured for you. You're told, when your meetings are, when your brotherhood events are, when to show up to the house or when to show up for a new member meeting, when to show up for a chapter meeting. You're told, what parts of the TEAC guide you need to review and what you need to be ready for. And if you're doing a brotherhood event or a service event, everything is laid out by the Hegemon. Everything is completely taken care of. Really, the new members, they don't have to think much. They just have to execute the program that's in place. We take guys from that environment, and oftentimes they get initiated, they take their bond, they pay their initiation fee, and they're done, right? We don't have any more obligation to do anything for them. And that leaves them feeling a little exiled at times. You can feel like you're out in the cold when, you get all this attention as a new member and then suddenly you're initiated. Okay, do I not matter anymore? Does my existence is not important to this fraternity as it was when I was a candidate? So I think there's a few things you can do. One, you can continue on with that brotherhood, with that pledge class bonding. Pledge classes get really, really close, right? And then we just stop planning things for them. So as a Hegemon, maybe part of your new member program extends 2 weeks or a month or 2 months beyond initiation, where they're still getting together. The pledge class is still getting together once a week or even once every couple of weeks just to hang out, talk, see how classes are going, see how TEK's going, see how life is going. That can help guys feel valued and feel a little more structured. And again, that's not education in a sense that we're teaching them anything, but we are providing value and we are allowing them to continue to learn from one another and the challenges that they're facing, rather than you as the Hegemon just trying to, have them read another chapter in a book and then ask them 5 questions about what they learned. Can they plan some sort of service or philanthropy event for the entire chapter? That's something that's a big part of a lot of new member processes, but it doesn't only have to be for new members. Pledge classes can take ownership and take responsibility for some of those. They can plan the service event. They can plan a philanthropy event. And once again, that's going to help bring them together, help them feel that sense of brotherhood. And it's going to allow them to continue on in their TEK experience, feeling like they matter to the chapter. And same thing with brotherhood events, right? You can plan any number of things. And then the last little tip I'll give you before I move on for recent initiates, think about how you might be able to bring them into the next group's education, to the next pledge classes, new member project. These guys just went through the process, whether it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. What did they learn? What knowledge do they now have that they can impart on that next pledge class? It doesn't just have to be you as the Hegemon sitting in a room with a new member class teaching them stuff. You can bring in other members of the chapter, and I think the most recent pledge class is a really underutilized resource. Once again, helps them feel valued, helps them feel important, and they might learn a little bit from the new pledge class. Anytime you can get a different group of guys together, guys with diverse backgrounds, diverse experiences, diverse home lives, they're going to learn from each other and they're going to become better people. And that's the ultimate goal. That's what I think of when I think of member education. Shifting to again, what I'll call our general members, the guys who have been around for a year or two and often get busy with a lot of other things, officer positions, other organizations on campus, the social scene on college, right? These are guys that are turning 21. They're spending time away from the house or away from the chapter at times. This is a group where there's a tremendous opportunity to provide more value and provide some of that education. But it starts with a question. And this is a question that you're going to have to probably ask and answer as the Hegemon. What is it that you are looking for from this fraternity experience outside of the social aspect, right? Outside of partying, meeting other people, meeting girls, right? What are you looking for? What are you looking to get out of this TEK experience? Once you ask that question and once you get that question answered, whether it's a Google survey, whether it's a verbal thing at a chapter meeting, you can do it any number of ways. Then you can start to think, okay, a lot of guys really want more academic support. A lot of guys are really concerned about finding an internship this summer. How can I, as the Hegemon, help to educate them in those different areas? I mentioned a few of those ideas already, academic support, how to succeed in the classroom. Guessing most of you, if not all of you, have some members who struggle in the classroom. It's not just the academic chair's job to assign them study hours and say, all right, man, we put you on a program. It's on you now to get your grades up. Things like time management, test taking tips, studying skills, all of that can be taught and can be learned. And that's going to directly lead to somebody getting their grade point average up. So that's where you can step in and look at different resources that might be helpful to educate members how to get their grades up. Thinking about health, right? Overall well-being. Maybe it's mental well-being. Maybe it's mental health, and you want to focus a little bit on that because there's some guys that seem kind of down or seem like they're struggling with stress or anxiety. Maybe it's physical health. Maybe a bunch of guys in the chapter are struggling. They packed on their freshman 15. Now they're trying to work it off. That's an opportunity, once again, for you as a Hegemon to step in and create a program where we're educating people on nutrition and how to eat, maybe how to put healthy meals together in the cafeteria. Maybe you start a workout club, right? You go to the gym 3 times a week, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. I know I'm throwing out ideas here, but this is how we build that education, by brainstorming, by throwing out ideas. So hopefully, as I'm talking, I'm sparking some things for you. Maybe some people, like I said, are concerned about the professional aspect, building a network, getting an internship over the summer, finding a job when they leave college. What resources are available for you as the Hegemon to bring in to help them build a stronger resume, a stronger cover letter, get more experience that's going to pay off down the line. Once you figure out what some of those topics are, coordinate some efforts to help with those things. Use your campus resources, right? Use the different experts that are available in the career office, in the counselor's office, in the health and fitness realm, right? Who can you maybe bring into a chapter meeting one time a month, once every couple of months? Is there a different person you can bring in from campus to help the chapter build a specific skill? Are there local experts, right? Does a local gym have a trainer that might be willing to come in and talk to the chapter for 30 minutes because he knows or she knows it's going to help their business thrive? Are there, is there a big company in town and you can bring in a human resources representative to talk about all the resumes they see and the most common mistakes? And then lastly, use your alumni. Use your chapter alumni. Use your TEAC alumni. They don't have to be directly from your chapter, especially if you're in a larger city. I guarantee you there are thousands of TEACs there from all different walks of life and all different stages in life who would be willing to help you, who would be willing to give 30, 45 minutes of their time for a chapter meeting to help the chapter build a skill, to teach the chapter something they didn't know otherwise. You as the Hegemon, you're not an expert on how to write a resume, but you can go out and find that expert. And that is education. That is ongoing member education, providing those opportunities that help members learn and enhance the value that TEAC is providing in their lives. And I don't want you to overlook TEAC's programs and events, RLC's, Conclave, Leadership Academy, Province Forums. A lot of these topics are covered in detail. And if this is not an area that your chapter's been strong in the past, I promise you, if you send a big group to an RLC, if you send a big group to Conclave, send a couple guys to Leadership Academy, send 40 guys to a Province Forum, you're going to walk away with more knowledge than you came in with. I guarantee it. If you don't, you can find me, you can tell me I'm wrong. But I promise you those are worth your time. And the ability to take advantage of what TEAC headquarters, what TEAC International offers in terms of our programs and events, that's what separates a lot of really, really strong chapters from a lot of chapters who frankly aren't as strong. So please keep those things in mind and take advantage of the things that we offer as well. And then lastly, I want to touch on seniors. And the thing with seniors to remember is they are in 1,000 different places mentally, physically, emotionally as they're getting ready to graduate. The way that you can provide value to them is thinking about skills that they're going to need that they're not getting from the classroom. Things like how to hunt for a job, right? How to go in and search and find something. Maybe they're getting resume building tips, but they don't know how to go in and find a job. How to look for an apartment, how to find their first apartment, how to buy a car when they leave college, how to go look for a house, maybe once they're 3 or 4 years out and starting to think about starting a family. How does insurance work? How does health insurance work? How does life insurance work? All of that fun stuff, car insurance, financial planning, opening bank accounts, opening investment accounts, 401ks, Roth IRAs, a lot of those things that once again, you as a Hegemon, maybe you're only a sophomore or junior, you're not an expert in, but you can take a little time and go and find experts. And you can host some sessions for seniors only that focus on those skills. It's going to do two things. One, it's going to help those seniors be more successful and they're going to learn skills that they didn't have otherwise. Two, it's going to keep them engaged. We get a lot of seniors that either want to drop TEAC entirely because they've been officers, right? They've served their time. They'll still show up to the social events, but they don't care necessarily as much about the chapter or the fraternity anymore. Creating structure for them, creating value is going to keep them engaged and keep them bought in and help you have a stronger chapter overall than if you have 15 seniors that just all want to quit. Then you're down 15 guys, you're trying to make it up with recruitment and it snowballs into some bad results. So once again, providing that value that the seniors are going to need, but they're not going to get from the classroom, and being the guy that brings in an expert, a local insurance agent, that brings in a local financial planner to just help them get off the ground a little bit in those areas that they're going to need. That could be huge for you. That could be huge for them. And it's going to be huge for the entire chapter. And then lastly, just thinking about tactics. I mentioned the idea of one chapter meeting a month. Bring in somebody from the community or someone from campus to teach a new skill. Bring in an alumnus, bring in, a friend, maybe a family friend that doesn't have anything to do with the fraternity, but that's willing to help. That's going to help you build bridges, build connections in the community. Build connections on campus. You're killing 2 or 3 birds with one stone. Create different social groups within the chapter. I don't want to get into cliques, right? But create groups of people, fitness groups, the mental health groups, the academic support groups. Help them learn from one another. Help the really strong academic members teach some of those who are struggling how they study, how they take tests, how they balance and take notes in class. Using one another, leaning on one another for ongoing education, it's going to lighten your load as Hegemon, and it's only going to help that brotherhood aspect and that feeling that you're getting something really positive out of being a member. So think about the social groups, think about the peer-to-peer, the member-to-member, and how you can build out some structure rather than just saying, hey, you guys should do this. Take 15 minutes, put pen to paper, and just put a small program together. And those who want to take advantage, they're going to take advantage. They're going to have a great time. Those who don't, maybe they'll take advantage of the next thing or the thing after that. And ultimately, if they don't, they're only hurting themselves. So once again, create opportunities, allow members of the chapter to learn from one another and learn from others. And that's a huge piece of your job as Hegemon. Remember, your role is to create value. It's to create opportunities that are going to lead to further education. Don't feel like you have to teach. Don't feel like you have to instruct. You do a really good job of that with the new members. It's not your role with the guys who have been around longer, but find experts, find people who can help and set up those opportunities. And again, everyone's looking for that secret formula for member education, for brotherhood, for, ongoing education beyond initiation. There is no secret formula. The secret formula is try something, do something. If it doesn't work, try something else, right? You're only going to make yourself better. You're only going to make the chapter better in the long run. Thank you for your time. Please reach out if you have any questions. I would love to talk more about this with you individually, in a group, whatever that is. But thank you again for watching today. I'm looking forward to talking to you again soon. Goodbye.